Good morning, everyone. Today I want to talk about a cool little find I had recently at a antique shop that was going out of business. This is a Seiko vintage hand winder 17 jewel. The reference number is 66-850. Like all Seikos, this is a number indicating that it's a 66 series movement and an 8050 case. So there's a lot of variation in this model from what I've done research online. As you can see, it's in pretty good shape. Definitely was worn a lot and well used, but it runs great, keeps excellent time. It's a 29 leading serial number, so since it says water resistant, we can safely say it was in the 70s, and that means it was made in 1972. So take the back off and take a little look at the movement inside. I will say I'm very impressed with the way Seiko did their older movements. It's very beautiful for a clearly budget watch. Nice with the orange enamel on the text and the regulator. It's a very simple movement, but I don't know, very pretty. So 17 jewel hand wind movement. Haven't tested the power reserve yet, but I'm guessing it's probably right around 38 to 44 hours, like most other vintage hand wind movements. Haven't had it serviced, but it's keeping excellent time, so it might have been serviced relatively recently, or like other Seikos, it's just keeps good time by itself without needing much of a service. So give you some dimensions on it, since I haven't really seen many videos on these 66 series watches, but they're pretty cool, and there are a fair number of them available online. They're not super cheap, but if you're into Seikos and you want a hand winder, this is definitely one of the cheaper ways to get it. You've got about a 35mm case. You've got not quite, just a little over 10.5mm thick, and a 42. There you go. See if we get the camera to see it. 42.08, so 42mm lug to lug. So very wearable. On the smaller size, compared to I'm wearing a Pogue today, and you can see that obviously this is much smaller, but not much less than the wrist presence, honestly. It's got a pretty good wrist presence, and it's got this really beautiful, the crystal scratch, it's kind of hard to see, but really beautiful radially brushed silver dial with applied indices, and the typical Seiko dress, let's see how close I can get to focus, Seiko dress minute and hour hands with the bevels. I'd imagine once I polish this crystal up, it'll be a really gorgeous dress watch, and I've got it on this Wrist Candy Watch Club Rally strap, and I think it suits it really nicely as kind of like a sporty dress watch. So it focuses, there we go. So that's about it on this watch for now. I just wanted to make a video saying, hey, this is kind of a cool vintage model that I hadn't really heard much about before I found it. I only paid $10 for it, and it's definitely a good find because they seem to go for around 100 plus on eBay. Probably because they look an awful lot like the modern Grand Seiko line and some of the vintage King Seikos as well. So you get that kind of look without the $800 to $5,000 price tag, depending on how new and how old and which model. So it's not a terrible deal. I'd say look around at your antique stores and your car sales, or boot sales, or garage sales, or whatever. And if you see a vintage Seiko hand winder like this, definitely pick it up, because odds are they'll probably only be selling it for a few bucks, because it's just a Seiko. But keeps incredible time, as good as my recently serviced Hamilton. So yeah, that's all I've got. Thanks very much. Have a great day. Bye.